Hello. So it's been a little bit, I will admit, but that is basically finished now. We've gone through all the presentations. It's literally like weird because I'm like, it shouldn't be over just yet, I don't think, but that's it. I've done the presentations. Because of the weird thing with the deadlines, like we had a deadline on Friday and then we had a deadline on Saturday, so I was like, okay, well I'll just do everything for like Thursday, arguably Friday morning because that's when I posted it, but I'll do it all for Thursday, get it posted and stuff. But I didn't realize we were going to get feedback with the presentations, so I got a little bit of feedback, but unfortunately it's a bit too late to change it now. Hopefully it's nothing that's going to affect it too much. One of the things I did get was like references and stuff like that, but I didn't really use any, unfortunately. I don't know why, I just didn't think to do it. Or I think when I thought to do it I was like, oh, but I don't know about this or that or whatever. For some reason I just didn't, but you know, it is what it is. So here is my presentation. I'm just gonna go through it kind of quickly-ish because I got stuff to do apparently. So essentially this is the first slide. It is just the, you know, me looking at the principles, looking at the distribution of the bouncing ball, like where the frames are all going to be, what things we could do, because in there you'll see like next to the bouncing ball distribution you'll have like the pendulum and the zigzag and stuff like that. I was basically just looking at like how everything could look. I then looked obviously at what I could do with the ball, giving it wings, which I thought of doing. I kind of wanted to do it, but at the same time I was kind of like, that's going to take a really long time and my character does not have wings. That's not really something that I need. So I was thinking about changing one of the balls to having ears, but then when I did the balls I was kind of like, I kind of want to do something different, so I'm just going to do something else now. I then obviously looked at spiders. I did a couple drawings of tarantulas. One, I don't know if that one is sleeping or not, but I think they do that when they sleep, don't they? They kind of cover their head. And then I did the other one, which is doing the kind of threat posture thing where they have their hands up like this. Like their smaller front two and then like their larger ones kind of come up as well, but this one doesn't have the larger one, not as much up because it's in a cup. But yeah, we have those. Then I have basically just text about, you know, what I did, why I chose like pendulum, wanted to do something different, all that jazz. So then I went on, and these are obviously just the onion skins of the bouncing ball animations. So we have Photoshop at the top. I basically just talk about like, you know, like I had an alright time with Photoshop, like I didn't find it too hard to do. I will show the bouncing ball animation video I made after this and I'll talk through it a little bit as well. Then there's the Procreate ball, which was alright, but it went kind of quick for me, I found. And then the swinging spider animation, which I could have gone on and cleaned up, but I just decided to leave it there because mainly time. That was when I started going on to do the actual like drawing Puka and actually going on to the character design. So I'm kind of going to be playing the video on here as well. This might play it twice or whatever while I'm talking, but yeah. So this is the Photoshop ball. It's just the first pass, so it's kind of a bit lucky. It plays twice, so you'll see it again. Then there is the Photoshop second pass, which is obviously me kind of doing what I need to do. There's a lot of text on what I did as well there on the actual slide that you can pause and see. So here's the Procreate one. Again, it kind of goes faster. I did this using straight ahead, so I think maybe that's why it kind of went faster. And then there's a spider swinging animation, which is a little bit longer, and again, I could have neatened it up a lot more, but that's where part of the difficulties came with Procreate as well, so it's like, not too worried about that. So obviously you can pause this screen and, you know, read it all, because it's basically just, I also had a look at Animate, but you know, yeah. So basically start drawing out Puka. That's essentially it, just looking at how I was drawing it and stuff like that. The first one I did there didn't actually do anything with it, but yeah, then I drew his head out a bunch of times. I was also just paying attention to like how I drew things, and a lot of times I was drawing the backpack last and I basically didn't draw the patches at all, so I was like, okay, that's part of the design. But because the design previously, one of the things about it was like it was supposed to be like minimalistic, definitely really helped. And also I kind of in my head was like, okay, if I were to actually animate with this, would this be better, would this be easier, that kind of thing. So I drew him in a bunch of different positions. Again, I didn't use reference, I don't know why, I just started drawing him. And then I looked at ears. Again, didn't use reference, but I didn't really know what to use reference for, because a lot of the ears I could think of, like cat's ears and stuff, they're not really cat's ears. They kind of sit more on the side of the head, so maybe a deer's ear, but they're not like a deer's ear at all. I don't really know what ear his ears are like, so I didn't use a reference at all for it, but maybe I should have just like mashed two together and actually tried, but that's on me. Then basically I just showed the turnarounds that I did. I did one of the head with the ears up because I felt like that was something that, well, I was going to use a lot. Then there was also the updated turnaround in general, which I added the back to, or a back thing to, facing Puka to or whatever, and I just kind of updated the ears and made sure everything was like looking right. Basically did a lot of the cleanup stuff that like after you've kind of gone away from it a while and you look at it again, you're like, oh wait, shit, like this is wrong, but I sorted that all out and got an updated turnaround. I also added in the character of Finn because I think that he's the character most like. Thinking back on it now, I'm kind of like, oh wait, there's this character that I could have done, or I could have been a bit looser with like not having to have a character that was super like, probably disappeared behind the slide there, I just realized, but super accurate to Puka. I think I could have just done whatever, but unfortunately just I didn't think that at the time. I was like, I got a bit in my head about it, so. But anyway, that's a character reference that I have. I was also thinking as well, a character from a game called Luna, or Lunar? I think it's Luna. It's like a puzzle game sort of thing. I'll put like a picture of the thingy up here as well, but I was thinking I could have done that and then I completely forgot to do it, so it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Yeah, so I started drawing Puka, how he'd interact with the ball. I then, obviously the bunch of stuff going on there, like him catching it with his magic and stuff like that, because I thought like, oh maybe he just catches it and it's like whatever, and then I'm like, okay, what is he doing it then? But then I was like, okay, what if it hits him? Because everyone's doing it when it hits him. I feel like everyone has done it when it hits him. Then I thought, oh, I'll push that a bit and I'll have him fall over, and I thought that was kind of cool, and I was like, okay, what could I do then? And I was like, well, maybe I could hit off his shoulder and then hit out, but then I was like, I could do a bit more, what else can I do? So I was like, okay, maybe I could have it where he like ducks and hits his hat off or something and then he picks it up or something. And then I was thinking, oh, maybe he stops it with his magic, because I remembered that that character has magic. Then I was like, okay, maybe just hold it up in the air like, oh, so you can see the side. And then I was like, maybe it accidentally hits off, then you can kind of see a little small doodle next to it, and then one below that where he's like, oh, sort of thing. So that was something that I quite liked, the little doodle of. Then I had one where it's like hitting it back and forth, because I was like, oh, okay, maybe rather than holding it up in the air, he's like playing with it, like hitting it back and forth, which is kind of what ends up happening. And then I was thinking, oh, maybe it gently comes in his hands and then he does something with it or whatever. So I kind of decided to make something about it because I like the fact of hitting his hat off, because I was like, oh, maybe it hits his hat off and I don't have to animate it. So hitting his hat off was good. I also liked hitting it back and forth and playing it with his magic kind of thing. So I also drew a bunch of like hands and stuff and like how we'd hold it. I have one where it's like this, and it's kind of like got more of a paw shape to it, because originally the character does have paws, and I was like, oh, maybe if he has paws, then like the paw pads are only the seen when it's in close up. So I was like, I think I'm gonna be animating this character from the waist up, because like that's less to animate. And also I was thinking about hitting it back and forth, so I was like, okay, maybe it hits it back and forth and it's only from the waist up. So I was like, I'm not sure whether that's a detail that will come into it. I then did a storyboard little thing. The top row is a slightly different start, because I started it again because I was like, I didn't really like it, because it kind of comes in, hits his hat off, he ducks and catches it with magic or whatever, and it was like, there was a lot happening all at one point. So I was like, okay, let's bring it down a bit. Maybe it hits off his hat, goes up, and then he catches it in that pose with the magic and stops it from hitting him, and then he starts playing about with it because his arms are already in the air, and it's like, oh, cool. So that's essentially what happens there, and then he accidentally hits it off screen. Then I thought maybe just the bottom strip there underneath all that, there's kind of like him missing it and then fumbling with it and accidentally hits off. And then I was thinking, oh, maybe he could like fumble with it but then catch it, but then it slips out between his hands like soap. That's what I was thinking with that. Again, you can pause it and read a lot of the stuff that I'm probably saying and a bit more about what I was thinking. Then I did this later on, but I basically made another page which looked at different storylines that I could do, including just general kind of Puka faces and stuff like that at the top, because I was just like, oh, I'll just draw more of Puka, and then I was like, actually maybe I could draw a few more like storyboard storylines that I could do for this animation, because I really kind of consolidated into one very quickly. So I really looked at a different angle, so maybe when he hits it, it kind of like follows the ball more, and so when he hits it, it's kind of like here, and then it kind of hits off the edge of the screen, obviously, or it hits off the edge of the screen, like, I think, no, it would like hit hit off the edge of the screen, kind of going in terms of perspective and getting smaller to the edge. And then he'd be like, oh, at the side, but then it'd be kind of like more this angle, then it would be like this angle, is what I was thinking. Then I made one where he catches it kind of below and then brings it up and then kind of holds it there, and just kind of top of his kind of expressions there. Maybe it'd show more, that's how I drew it for the thumbnail. And then it kind of like goes unstable and then kind of pops off to the side. I was thinking just a different way of doing it, because I had that kind of thumbnail on the other page where it's like him like whoa, and it's like really kind of drawn in a little bit more. Then at the bottom of the page I had where he would basically be holding his plushie and then he'd like catch the ball, and then he'd be using his magic to like obviously catch it, and he's like oh, and then he like plays about with, like he floats up his plushie and like plays about with it and it's all spinning and stuff like that, and that could be really cool. Probably would go over the time limit, to be fair. And then he would just catch the plushie because he'd care more about the less like he'd care more about the plushie, he'd just be so like yay, and then just catch the plushie because he cares about that more, and kind of forgets the ball, and the ball kind of like bounces off screen. I thought this actually was kind of cool concept and cool idea. Again, I had it like I think last night when I was trying to fill, or yesterday when I was trying to fill in the page a little bit more, but again I think it's just like it was more complicated for the time limit. I've run out of time because I've already finished, but in terms of what I could have done for the time limit, even if I had this idea before, I wouldn't have had time for it. Just the extra complications of stuff, more things on the page and all of that, it just would have been a bit too much for what I wanted to do, or for what I could probably do within the time that we had. So it was kind of like, but yeah, I just wouldn't have time. So that's going to be something that is a case of like I just didn't have time for it. And that's mainly because I haven't really animated before, so I'm not really like particularly fast with it. Also the fact that I also had decon stuff to do and a few other things I needed to sort out, unfortunately, that like I just also have a time limit for, so. And then obviously at the bottom there I have a little expanded image of that soap idea because that is so small, and I did quite like that idea. So the next one is a breakdown of the passes for each like video. So I didn't actually put this into the animation. I was thinking maybe I could, but then I was like I'll have it on the slide because I can show these images as stills rather than have it all in this bigger video, because it would have been past a minute because I was playing everything twice because it goes by so quick. And one of the things I did notice, like whenever you'd play stuff you'd have to be like play it again, play it again, play it again, so they could just see it over and over and kind of like get a better idea of it as it went, because it is such a short like animation. So the plan was that, and the lecturer did say, oh yeah, maybe you could like get rid of the slide and put it all into your video, and then I was like it's already posted. I posted this yeah, this morning, just to try and get it all finished and done, because we had that Friday deadline which might have moved, but I wasn't sure if it had moved, and I was just like I want to get done out of the way, and I didn't realize I was gonna get feedback, because otherwise I would have done it, but oh well, is what it is. So yeah, for the third, I think maybe for the third, maybe the fourth or the fifth, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think for the third pass I made that, I call it the hit ball arc for some reason, I don't know why, but it's essentially the ball coming in where it hits off the hat, goes up, down, and stops with his magic, and then, you know, the arc in between the hands, and where it hits off the hand for each hand, and also where it hits off the arc for where it hits off to go off screen. So that's essentially that one up there. Then I had one that was just a digital piece of different ways I could do the magic. I think I really would have liked to have done that third one with the blue with the little yellow sparkles in it. I think that would have been cool, but I also think at the end of the day it was just time-wise, it wasn't something I could do. And also I would have done this as like actual animations to show like how the magic would move. I think that would have been really cool. I also would have done an ear animation as well as one thing, but unfortunately again, time-wise I just did not have time, and I think it would have really kind of added to it a little bit, but time-wise again, it's just, you kind of have to use up your time as best as possible. So yeah, for my final I ended up actually colouring it. So the colours are still the same, like base colours that I used. I just took away a lot of like the spots and the moons on the stars, on the scarf and on the stars. But I basically took all of that away, and it's definitely a lot better looking now. I just do hope that it does stand out enough in the background, because it's just mainly a blurred kind of piece from a different piece that I zoomed in and kind of blurred it. And I blurred it for the background because it was just like I didn't have time to actually properly paint a background. I didn't know what to do, so I was like, okay, let's just do this, mess about with a bit. Okay, there we go. I was gonna do a different background, but the issue I mainly had there was just like, again, I kind of want to redo that, and I was like, oh, I want to go back in, organize that and change that, and it looks nice, but it was just like timing wise, and also it didn't quite look correct with the character for some reason. I'm not sure why. To be honest, this background doesn't really look the best, but I kind of prefer it. So it's a lot simpler as well, because the other one was a lot more complicated, and I think it kind of didn't gel the best with the character. Well, in terms of like maybe the color scheme and stuff, and also blurring it, like you'd have to blur it like a little bit more, I think, than this, and it looked weird, and I don't know. I prefer this one. I don't know why I've like tried to explain it so much. But yeah, those things I would have loved to have done animations for, and that's like the basic base colors. Essentially what I did was I copied the group again, or I duplicated the group. I then went in and selected the outside area, and then selected the reverse, and then just took the paintbrush with a master paintbrush and then just filled it in with all color, and then that pretty much did exactly what I needed it to do. It didn't really do too much, have too much an issue. There was a very, very tiny white line around the outside of it, which is not the best, but at the same time, like, I'm not like, oh my god, like the way to solve that would literally, rather than painting it white first, paint it black, and then literally just like paint it black and then like fade the opacity of the layer, so then like you can kind of see through it, and then paint it and then raise it back up again. That would have been fine, and then you'd have your base colors down. But yeah, anyway. So this is it's a bit more than keyframes, I'll say that much. I think I could have shortened this down just to have purely keyframes, but I think that I kind of wanted to show the magic towards the end and like how that went a lot more, and just, yeah, I don't know. It's a bit more than the keyframes, but at the same time I'm also like with keyframes, because it's like I kind of get keyframes, but I think I tend to like count too many frames as keyframes, so I need to kind of like just do a bit more research and kind of look up a bit more stuff and see like what there is. So, you know, yeah, because I think that's one thing I'll have to do like over summer, is kind of like just learn a lot more about animation and just kind of like try and absorb a bit more before I actually head into the course, because I think that will definitely be useful for next year. So that's what I need to do. I also kind of want to do a few more like smaller animations and stuff on my own, just to try and like build up a little bit more of that kind of confidence and just in general like awareness and stuff, because again, it's like I've not really looked into animation that much because I was so busy trying to get into general foundation, and then when I was in general foundation I was like, I'll get to the animation bit when I get to the animation bit. So I don't know, we'll see how it goes. But this is just a little reflection saying that I enjoyed it. I didn't have any issues with tech or anything, and I found myself perfectly content to do everything. Like, I wasn't bored or frustrated. Yeah, just overall I like how my animation turned out. I think maybe I could have added maybe a couple more sentences onto this after seeing a few other people's like thingies, but I mean, at the end of the day I think this is fine for what it is for now. This is what I have. So I'm gonna quickly jump back to this slide that has the breakdown of everything, because we're now gonna watch the video that I made, which is literally just like a breakdown of each thing. So here's the final like puka animation kind of thing. I'll probably just play this video like a couple times as I'm talking about like everything sort of thing. Okay, so obviously I sandwiched this so that it goes final and then, you know, big thing and then final. So I'll just put my hand here, it's easier to kind of lean against. But yeah, this is the final animation for puka. I really enjoyed like doing it, and I think it looks really good. Obviously it's the first pass, just getting a general idea of the movement, and I think it was really good to do that, just because I think that sometimes I can get so stuck in my head and be like, oh my god, what's this other stuff. But yeah, the second one's just kind of adding puka, and then the third one's getting those keyframes nice and cleaned up. And obviously each one plays twice because it goes by so quick, and then it gets kind of a little bit longer as it goes. But yeah, so I think in total like the animation's about 3 seconds something long, maybe a little bit longer actually now that I think about it. Yeah, these are all just all the different passes and stuff like that. So I then ended up adding things like magic towards the end and how that would look, and there was obviously a few frames at the end of that magic one where it's like, oh, but once I got everything sorted and coloured, that was it essentially. I might have said it slightly out of order because I'll probably edit when I stop and all that jazz for too long, so. But yeah, that is essentially the final kind of video I made. I probably, thinking back, would have put that text from that slide into each one just to say this is what's happening here, this is what's happening here, rather than having it where they have to jump back and forth from the slides. I do think that was a mistake I made, but hopefully it isn't too much. Hopefully it's just a case of like they'll read the slide and then just go, okay, that's what's going on here. So, and they won't like try and go back and forth and be like, oh, I had to go back and forth. I just hope that they like it. Yeah, so the animation's about 3 seconds long. It's not too long, but I mean, it's one of those things where it's like I didn't want to have anything too long. And I think that I just really didn't want to end up accidentally pushing myself too hard and all this jazz, particularly when I've got a bunch of decon prints to do and all this other stuff, so. And I'm not saying I did like decon stuff during time that I could have been working on my animation and stuff like that. It's like I did separate it out, so it's like, okay, this is uni time and then this is like non-uni time, so it's just one of those things where it's like it gets constant after a bit. So, but anyway, that was it. Oh my god. That was it. That's the first year. Holy crap. I just kind of realizing it now. I was like, oh yeah, that's first year. So essentially how things are apparently going to go down is, I think for the course directors, our stuff gets assessed during the Easter holidays, which is the next 2 weeks. Then I think after that we have a week where we each get a meeting with our advisor, and then we get like told whether we get into the specialism we want to or not. Now this is only for communication design. To be fair, this is only for communication design. This is not for any other course within DJCAD. So communication design is graphic design, illustration and animation, mainly because particularly because for animation, it's the second school in Scotland that does it. Like, there's only 2 art schools in Scotland that do it. It's Edinburgh and it's DJCAD. So it means that like the popularity is definitely higher because the places are limited, or more limited than something like fine art or, you know, a lot of other places. But yeah, just Grays and Glasgow apparently don't do it at all, which in a way part of me is like, cool, you're in with like people, but at the same time it kind of makes it stressful because we have to kind of go through this, and obviously when it comes down to it, like whatever happens. In a way, I will not lie, I'm a little nervous about kind of uploading videos and stuff like this because it's like I don't want to not get in. Obviously I don't want to not get in. At the end of the day, if there's nothing I can do about it, there's nothing I can do about it. It's as simple as that. But it doesn't mean I'm gonna not be pissed about it, but it is something where it's like, you know, hopefully I will get in. It's hard to tell because, you know, when I was at a meeting with my advisor previously, just before like the end of this semester, no, last semester, some point, when I was at a meeting with them, they said, oh yeah, you're fine, like you should be fine, like you've got no problems in your feedback, you've got no, you know, there's no attendance issues, like you're fine, like you'll most likely get in, or like you're set to get in. So I'm kind of a bit like, I don't know whether it's a case of like, because I don't quite know how much your attendance and your involvement and engagement and all this other stuff, this thing, I don't know how much that counts for. So I don't quite know if like you will be set as long as you are like attending, and obviously there's mitigating circumstances which you can apply for, which basically means like if you're ill and stuff, or you can't make it because of something specific or whatever, and it gives you like extensions and all that jazz. But you know, I do just wonder like how much everything counts for. If it's a case of like if you're in the green then you're fine, but again it's like I don't know whether it's a case of like there's that many people in the red that are like, you know, are said to not get in because of those things. So it's like, I don't know, it's a little stressful because it just kind of feels like I'm going through the portfolio process again. At least this time it's like you do get help from lectures and stuff like that, so it does feel a lot better in a way because you're kind of doing it within the university. But yeah, anyway, I might film a little bit more. I don't know if it's going to go on the end of this video, mainly because time-wise, we'll see. I've been filming for half an hour, so that's probably going to cut, so I'm going to come back. Okay, and we're back. I might film a little bit. I know I am going to be filming other videos because I'm going to do one that's going to be kind of like a vlog, kind of decon thing going on. Also probably including the offer holder day too. because I'll be helping out the offer holder day, so that's definitely something as well. And I've got so much to do. I've got filming for another video as well that I have been filming like every so often when I get packages and stuff, because why not? It's something to show off, I suppose. But yes, anyway, I will see you guys later. I hope you enjoyed. If this is indeed the end of the video, like and subscribe, comment down below, all that jazz. Go follow me on Insta and go check out my Etsy. I know what I'm doing, but yeah, go do things, I suppose. I'll see you later. Bye. Actually, just a little bit to add on to that video. I do kind of wish that because we were allowed to do like our own character, part of me does wonder, like, I kind of get why they set it in such a way where like you draw a different character, and originally we would be drawing like someone's specific character, which I think is cool, like, or well, which I think is something that, like, fair enough, that is the majority of the time that is what's gonna happen, like you're gonna be drawing someone else's work. But part of me really enjoyed the fact that we were able to like do our own designs, and part of me is like I kind of wish that we could push that further and be like, you create your own character, you then, you know, make that character, you design and make that character, and then once you've made that character you can go and like animate that character in this kind of format where it's like something happens that can loop and loop and loop. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like I do kind of wish we were just able to do our own character, but at the end of the day it's like I also do kind of understand like part of it probably came from the fact that we would have to, you know, do someone else's, you know, style and stuff like that as well. So, but yes, I don't know. I just think that's just a side note that I'll say just before leaving the video. But anyway, bye. Hello. So I'm gonna see if I can't fit this on the end of the module 4 video. I'm not sure if I will be able to. Hopefully I should. If not, it's gonna make it really long. So or I might have cut the videos down shorter. I'm not entirely sure. But it's been like a month since then. It's been a month since then, and I found out a couple of days ago I didn't get into animation, which frankly I'm really pissed off about. Like, I'm obviously very upset. I kind of was under the impression that, you know, you would be fine for getting into your first choice as long as you didn't have to do, like, you weren't awaiting any resits or you weren't doing badly. Like, they kind of made it sound like the people who wouldn't be would be like people who weren't attending, people who were, you know, not doing well enough within the course as a whole. That's not really the case, because I've been doing fine. And then they've decided to say like, oh, we think you'd do better in a different thing, which I don't like at all, because I have had it where, like, it was like for S3 or something where we were choosing our subjects. They were like, oh, you should do physics. And I was like, no, I shouldn't, because I'm terrible at physics. I'm terrible at maths. Like, that's so physics is like so maths based. Why would you think I would be fine with that? Like, what? Like, I'm not the biggest fan of like aptitude tests, because it is one of those things where I'm not the biggest fan, just because a lot of the times they don't really know the person, or they only know them in this specific light, so it's like you don't really get to see everything. But luckily I can ask them to re-review it. The only issue is the fact that it's like, is that going to change the decision? I kind of doubt it, and I think that's one of the things, just like, eh. Because I mean, when Illustration found out, because Illustration found out like I think 2 weeks before us, like there was a couple people that I know who didn't get in, and it's not like they were doing terribly, like they didn't have resets and stuff. Like there was another person who had like resets to do and had to do a reset because they didn't pass the module, and they got in fine. And it's kind of one of those things where I'm sitting here like, okay. Like I don't know, I think that the way it was kind of portrayed to us was like it was gonna be people who weren't doing well enough within the course in general, and not, oh, but we think that you'd do some better in this other thing. I don't like that, because it's like, it shouldn't matter, it should be what I want. And yeah, I don't know, I'm not gonna lie, that really put a damper on it. I didn't know this was a thing. Like, I genuinely didn't know this was a thing. I think I heard someone say before that like they do like an assessment thing, but I thought it was like a general course kind of side of things. Apparently not. Apparently it literally is an aptitude test and it doesn't matter what you want, even if you've like done perfectly fine and done well, like you might not get in. That is shit. Because I think it's just something where like a lot of us didn't know that was a thing until it kind of like came into second semester, and then when it came into like the actual thing we were all like, oh shit. And particularly when people illustration got theirs back, we were kind of like, oh, so it's not just like what? And I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of difficult for me because on the day like everyone was like getting emailed to be like, oh yeah, I got in, and then of course I'm one of the people who didn't get in because that's my fucking luck. Hopefully with the I suppose reevaluation, I suppose the best way to put it, I suppose, with that, or with the appeal I put through, I suppose, I can write something. I can write, yeah, just like a letter kind of thing, and just kind of get everything down as to why I want to do animation specifically, because it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, I'm like, I shouldn't have to do this. Like, I shouldn't have to. Why is it that us as students who are with the university aren't given priority, and why is stuff decided for us when we're already a part of the university and you've asked us for our choice? Like, I don't like that at all. And again, I think a lot of us were very much just like, we didn't know this was going to be a thing. We thought it was like a short shot through into second year to whatever you want. So that's definitely put a damper on things. It's really fucking annoying because it is one of those things where it's like, if I still had the strength in me, I would kind of be like, oh, I'll just drop out and literally just apply to animation. I'll just do that until I get into animation. But it's like, I genuinely, coming into this course, thought I was like a sure shot through to animation, and I thought I'd get in. I genuinely thought I'd get in because I was like, I've been doing well, and the way they framed it has kind of been like, if you do well, you'll be fine. So it's just very, very annoying. It's very, very fucking annoying because it's just like, I don't know if it's going to change anything. I mean, my second was graphic design. I would still do that, but at the same time, it's like my heart is still in animation. So I hate that I have to hope and pray. You know what I mean? And it's just, I mean, that's the thing about it. It's like, I don't think I did badly at all. Like, I will admit, I think on the research side of my most recent project, I really kind of let that down, and I really should have like picked that up, but I must admit it skipped my mind because I was so focused on trying to get the animation finished off, because I thought that would be a big part of it. I thought part of this module part of this kind of like review would be if you could actually like finish the actual like thing, because I've known a few people who weren't able to properly finish theirs, or were only able to get like a certain amount done, and that's nothing on them in terms of being like, oh, I'm better than you because I could do it, but I thought that might be part of like the test almost, to see if you could actually like make something that you'd be able to fit and make and do, which I think I did perfectly fine. So it's like, again, it's just one of those things where it's like, the way it was presented was not how it went, and that's really, really annoying. So anyway, so yeah, I think the plan kind of for today is I'm going to fully kind of get all my points down, because I've got a lot of stuff to say, but I just don't want to be ranting on about stuff that they will not care about. And I think it's something where I'm glad that I'm able to like actually write something though, because it is something where it's like, part of the reason I want to do animation is because I want to study animation. Like, it's not a case of, oh, I want to do some animation. It's like, I want to study it as a subject and have it as a degree. Very, very, you know, important that I get into animation in order to fucking do that. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, I hate that I'm having to make this little video, and I didn't think I really would have to. I would have thought I'd be, you know, here and being like, yeah, I got in, it was great. Like, I managed to get in, I'll be going to second year for animation, but how it goes with me, I find just sort of God. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I was gonna say that like I kind of knew this would possibly be a risk, because at the end of the day, like, I mean, to be fair, I kind of knew it was a risk in the back of my mind, because I did think I'd get in, I did think it would be fine, but that's not how it's turned out. But I feel like it would, I mean, the amount in this video, even alone if this is a part of the other video, that I have said that I really want to do animation, that I really want to kind of go on to do it, and that I really enjoy doing the animation projects. It'd feel false for me to be like, oh yeah, now I'm doing graphic design, yay! Like, it's really frustrating for me, and I'm tired. Like, I'm genuinely, like, emotionally exhausted at this point, because I tried for years to get into this course thinking that if I get in here, then I'm a sure shot into animation, right? Maybe if I got in the previous 2 years, because apparently they all got in. So I'm a bit like, what makes our year different? Like, why am I allowed to reappeal your decision? Because that means that you have spaces. Like, I'm just a bit frustrated. I mean, it also doesn't really sit right with me, nor does it sit right with any of the people I've talked to in animation who were waiting for this result. Like, they were all like, why do people from outside the university get places first? Like, surely, because I mean, they'd know by April, at least, which is a month before the UCAS deadline. They would know by April whether we have, or how many people would be going for second year for animation. They would know. So part of me is just a bit like, why not literally say, okay, that's how many places are taken up by our first years, this is how many places we have left, this is how many places we will give out to the list of people that we have who could have been accepted. Like, it just kind of feels a bit like a slap in the face to be like, oh, your students are ready, but we'll just judge you, and if we decide that you're not gonna fit well in enough, we'll chuck you into something else. Like, that's kind of how it's happened, which is, I'm not gonna lie, when I was at the offer holiday, because I was at the offer holiday, I don't know if I said this, I was at the offer holiday, and essentially, like, when I told people, like, oh yeah, there's an assessment if you want to do animation illustration, I could see it immediately in the face, they're like, not sure I want to do that. You know what I mean? Like, they're just kind of like, oh, I think I'll go to an actual university that gives me the course that I want. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, again, it feels so just disgusting. I don't like it at all. But it feels almost antiquated. Like, it's kind of like, what is the point? You know what I mean? Like, why can you not just do it this other way? Like, why are we not, your students, given priority into the places that we want to get into? Like, I'm very upset, and I just wanted to kind of come in and quickly just explain the situation, because it is something that I didn't want to have to be explaining. I would much rather be here and saying that I got in and all the rest of it, but also at the same time, if people are looking at my videos and being like, oh hey DJCAD, oh hey I want to go to, you know, this course and do that, it's like, it's something to be wary of, which I didn't know existed, and they kind of keep under wraps. I'm not gonna lie, like, this is literally like, at every other open day they've never mentioned it to me. And this is not necessarily a new thing, because when I was at one of the student rep meetings, you know, the lecturer that we have it with mentioned that this assessment happened before the previous 2 years, and because COVID, like, they just let everyone through to what they wanted, which I don't know why they can't just keep doing that, because, you know, what was so different about those years when they were, as far as I'm aware, running at full capacity anyway, you know, it's just one of those things, because it's like, it's only animation illustration, it's none of the other courses. So it's kind of one of those things where it's just a bit like, it feels like the school's not changing to give more spaces into those courses, but they're also not allowing their students to have priority in those spaces, which does not feel right to me. It's like, we're already here and then you're giving spaces away. Like, I don't know whether they have if they have a quota, I want to say mandate for some reason, if they have a quota for the amount of people that need to come in, but I don't think they do. And it's kind of one of those things where I'm just a bit like, again, it's just, why not? Why do we have to go through all this stress and anxiety? Like, literally everyone who has gone through this has been really, really fucking stressed, and it's just like, what are you doing? Like, literally just let everyone into what they want to get into, because you're letting everyone else in. So it's just really, really annoying and frustrating, particularly for me, because I really wanted to do animation, and I really want to do animation, and I don't know, it's one of those things where I kind of been a bit like, I'm still gonna try, I'm still gonna send this letter and ask for the reappeal. Hopefully they will let me in at that point, but there's no guarantee, and it's difficult to say whether, you know, they are not doing it for certain reasons. I don't know, but anyway, I have a tutor, I'm meeting with my tutor tomorrow, which I basically I'm gonna get my bullet points and my points down tonight. Then I'm gonna ask them about how, you know, to structure it, what to put in there, because I don't want to put a bunch of stuff in there that they're gonna be like, why are you telling me this? And hopefully then I can like send that off to hopefully be reviewed, hopefully before the end of next week, but I've got no idea when they're gonna actually get to review it, so hopefully I will get in. But yeah, I can't really sit here and be like, oh yeah, I'm doing graphic design now, hey, that's cool, when I am very upset about this. And, you know, I started this YouTube channel and I don't want to have to do this, but at the same time I don't want to not do it just purely to try and save face or whatever, because it's like, I think it's something that genuinely is a concern, and I think that if I don't actually put it in my videos, it feels like I'm kind of lying by omission. So anyway, if I don't get in, I'm still going to continue with graphic design. I will still do animation stuff and graphic design, I suppose, because that's the best I can fucking do. But it'll just be very shit, and I think that's something that, you know, isn't going to be taken away. I might, because I'm going to ask as well, because I'm going to see if I can apply for second year entry into animation while I'm in second year for graphic design. I'm wondering if I can't do that, because that'd be awesome if I can do that, and hopefully I can get in that way. But, you know, I don't think me stopping, because I already have a place arranged. I need to be a student in order to be at that place for accommodation and stuff like that, so it's kind of one of those things where it's like I might as well continue just being a student. So who knows, if I can apply, I might fuck around and apply to CalArts or some shit and see if I get in. Who knows? Anyway, I will see you guys later. Sorry to have this be on such a down note, but it's something that I thought if people are, you know, watching these videos in the future, who knows, maybe it'll be different then, who knows. But, you know, it's something that I didn't think would be a concern myself, but ended up being a really, really bad thing for me, so. Or ended up being a concern, because, not gonna lie, I genuinely thought I would get in. I genuinely did, because, again, I was doing well. I was doing fine. I completed my animation and everything. So, anyway, I will see you guys later. Like and subscribe on the rest of it. Go watch the rest of the videos. I might pop in again actually at the end of this. I'm not sure if I do get in and all the rest of it, but it depends on whether I get the news by the time this video comes out, because it'll probably be in a week or two. So I will see you guys later.